All right, and we should be live. Everyone, thank you for joining us. If you are joining us, today I have with me Nick Ochs from what? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your you got a little Facebook page and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm like a Z level internet celebrity, but if you are interested in hearing more of the shit I talk, please follow the Ochs Report on Facebook. That's the OCHS Report.
All right, and today we're interested in talking to you about your situation with Janine Pirro from Fox News. You had the pleasure of meeting with her over in Korea. If you could tell us a little bit about what happened with that.
Yeah, the good judge. Judge Janine does not care for me, and in fact got me fired, which I thought was gratuitous and unnecessary on her part. But if y'all don't know, I am part of a certain right wing drinking club called the Proud Boys, and I'm quite open about this. But Proud Boys get banned from things, and I have been banned from many things. But until recently, I didn't get banned from conservative things, and that has changed here with Judge Janine.
Now, obviously, most of the people that you've been associated with, you don't hide that you're a part of this organization, right? And so everyone tends to know that you're a. Let's just be honest. This organization is the Proud Boys, right?
Yep.
So most everyone that knows you or worked with you, you didn't hide it that you were a Proud Boy, correct?
No, I'm very open. For one, I have a noticeable tattoo that says Proud Boy to end any confusion there. And two, I'm very Googleable. If you type my name in the internet, you're gonna find out exactly what I believe in. So it'd be pointless to lie, and I wouldn't do it anyway.
Now, obviously, the reason most people are tending to distance themselves from the Proud Boys would probably be because of the SPLC and other watchdog organizations that are labeling you guys as like a hate group or a racist organization, correct?
Sure, if you Google the Proud Boys, I think what would pop up either first or most obviously would be the Wikipedia page. And the first sentence is something about neo-fascism, right? It's a much maligned organization, but the Proud Boys are not a white nationalist or white supremacist organization, and this becomes very obvious when you look at any picture of like three or more Proud Boys in one place because they're not all going to be white.
Right.
So it's a bit of a media meme or panic. It
Yeah.
does affect your life, though.
Well, and also, I don't know what could be more fascist than firing people over their political ideologies. I mean, that's about as fascist as it gets, right? I mean,
Yeah, so I can barely hear you on that. It broke up a little bit.
yeah, I'm saying like firing people over their political ideologies, that's about as fascist as it can get, right?
Right, yeah, well, fascism, if you want to get like political nerd about it, it's not really left or right, but these leftists that spread these things are certainly very authoritarian or busybody or pieces of shit. However you want to categorize it, I'm sure we can find the words.
Now, as far as the Proud Boys being a racist organization, I don't know how much you want to get into your personal life and your a personal.
No, ask me anything. I am an open book, but I know what you're talking about already. So even though I have been maligned as a white supremacist in print many times, I am married to a black woman. Our first child will be born as soon as next week, which we're very excited about. And whatever that says about me, you can make your own judgment. But it does, in my world, definitively prove that I cannot be a white supremacist. That's two mutually exclusive things. But if you were to Google me, again, This is not what you would see.
So so basically, you got fired from your job right before Christmas, right before the holidays, for being
Hmm.
associated with a hate group or a white supremacist group or
Yeah,
organization,
that's for sure. Like,
while you're married to a black woman that is pregnant with your baby.
right, and there's a bunch of stories like that, but they don't usually come from purely within the right wing world, which is where I work. That's the strange bit. So let's start at the beginning, though. I live in Hawaii, and I've lived here about 7 years. Four of those were Marine Corps years. Once I got out of the service, I started to make a life here, and it was right before the election. So the first thing I did when Donald Trump announced, I was one of those day one guys. I said I want to be part of this campaign, and I was. I was vice chair of the Trump campaign in Hawaii. Uh, really a great time in my life, uh, and I just look back on that fondly. But I've been involved in this conservative politics on the Republican Party here ever since. Now I got recruited out of my activities there to go work for this conservative nonprofit as a consultant, and I've been there, 2 years until very recently. And it's the only thing like this in Hawaii. Hawaii is the bluest state. There's no right wing infrastructure here. It's
It's
you know,
heavily Democratic.
it's not where you get to work this job, but it's the only thing like it here. And I was pretty thrilled to be part of making something new like that.
Right. So now you were explaining to me that this party that you went to, or this event, was equivalent to like Korea's CPAC.
No, it was Korea's CPAC. I was working at CPAC Korea. Now I've been to CPAC and such a couple of times. The big American thing where it's like the biggest conservative event of the year, but it's all very mainstream stuff. And in the past year, there's been this split on the right that if you aren't a conservative or a political nerd, maybe you don't know about. But there's more ideological right wing people, which I count myself to be one of. And there's what we call the donor right, the grifter right, the mainstream right. Conservative incorporated is the buzzword that we use. And that people are talking about CPAC when they say these things, right? This is conservative positions that are really not too controversial. They're easily digestible, and they're not really any different than we've heard before.
Right. For example, like Turning Point USA.
Yes, Turning Point. That's the number one example of Turning Point. Mass immigration is great as long as it's legal,
Yeah.
right?
Now
I would say, yeah.
was Turning Point represented at this Korean CPAC?
No, there was no Turning Point other than me. Actually, I'm in charge of Turning Point Hawaii, and so
Wait,
they'll get rid of me too. They just
wait!
got
A
me.
Proud Boy is in charge of Turning Point Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe they'll hear this, but I'm just waiting there.
I have a
It's
feeling
fine.
that's going to be short lived now.
Yeah, it's entertaining. I keep one foot in the mainstream world of politics, and I keep one in the ideological world of politics.
Well, to be
I
clear,
wish it wasn't mutually exclusive, but it's feeling like there's been this shift because it's never been a problem
right
to just be a person
now,
who says what he
to
believes
be
in.
fair though, most Proud Boys are probably not groypers. Right? We would agree with that.
No, Proud Boys it occupies a very specific point on the political spectrum. All right, it's basically a genuinely right wing organization without veering into any racial politics. And I think that's a great place to be. That's why I like being part of this. It really is the sweet spot. It reflects my beliefs, and it's fantastic. Nothing
Right.
else like it.
Well, do you notice a lot of Proud Boys also have a military background?
Yeah, there's definitely an above average number of veterans, and it depends who you are. Like I run the Proud Boys chapter in Hawaii, and damn, I've lost like half my chapters to the Marine Corps. They will not quit joining the Marines, which is a problem for me. But generally, it's yeah. There's military guys are interested. I wouldn't recommend doing it if you're active duty because all it takes is one leftist to report you for being in some spicy group, and uh,
Yeah.
you never know what a bad commanding officer might say.
Yeah, exactly. You can definitely probably get booted from the military for being a Proud Boy
Yep.
nowadays. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit in detail, like what happened at this event where you started to realize that this was going to be a problem.
Right. So I was working all day and into the night, all week before CPAC Korea, and there's a lot to do. Like as a consultant, I'm just doing all kinds of office work. I'm generally good on the computer, and I was taking care of some loose ends. You know what I mean? It it was well organized a bit and all that, but there's plenty to do right before. So I was working late the night before, and my ultimate boss, who financed CPAC Korea, said she wants me to go to this dinner with all the VIPs and celebrities that shown up for conservative CPAC Korea. And doing the work I do and in this right wing world I live in, you meet famous people on a pretty regular basis. And I wasn't enthused by going to the dinner. I tried to get out of it because it just doesn't matter to me that much when I have actual stuff to do and I'm going to be up that much
Yeah,
later. But I
you're
was
not
told
starstruck.
you get over that, But you meet a lot of cool people, and some not so cool, as we'll soon find out. Anyway, I got forced into it. You have to go. This is now part of your job. Okay, fine. I'll count the hours too, but I'll go to your dinner. But I wasn't dressed for it. Now, if I were to go to this with an hour's warning, I'd wear a suit. It's a very nice restaurant, and these are very upscale people. But as it was, I was wearing short sleeves, and my tattoo was very visible. Okay, fine. I don't hide who I am, but I understand that this can be a touchy subject. I'm not ignorant to the way that the mainstream works here on the right side. So we go out to dinner, and it's fine. Everyone's pleasant the whole time. There's names there you would recognize in addition to Judge Janine. I won't get into all that. She sits at my table, and it's fine. We have a nice dinner. We get up, the next morning. I show up at CPAC Korea, which is in the nicest hotel in town. It's really a hell of a setup. Like, there's a lot of people here. It's got some production value, let me tell you. And I was impressed. I was really excited to be a part of it. But the mood had changed in regards to me specifically. And I'm told that I am now to delete any pictures I may have taken during the dinner with Judge Janine. I don't do the selfie thing because, as I said, I'm not Star Trek. I don't do that, but I wish I had now. But Judge Janine was looking to scrub my presence from her presence,
Right.
and I say, okay, I see what's happening here. I've seen this go down before,
Right.
and
So
you
you
start
were
to get more.
suspicious.
Well, I'm not suspicious. I know exactly what's going on. Other people around me didn't because
They're
there
naive.
only wasn't. Well, yeah, a little bit. Uh,
We're all on the
it's
same team. We're all on the same team.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my my immediate boss starts pleading my cases. Oh, he's the best employee we got. Can't be treating this guy like this. Blah blah blah. And I felt bad for him because I knew what was going to happen. And I explained to him that they're going to remove me from this event. They just haven't yet. But the executive director of CPAC comes up concerning the Janine situation and says, hey, thanks for playing along, all this stuff. I was a bit short with him. Probably didn't help my case, but I knew what was coming. I said, yeah, fine. I get it. And so my boss is looking on, sort of astounded by all this. And I say, this is what happens now. And sure enough, about 15 minutes before the event was actually set to start, I was escorted out and told that I could not be there anymore. After being told before that if I post about it, I couldn't be there. If I'm seen, avoid any cameras, blah blah blah. Yeah. It's depressing. But this isn't exactly the first time it's happened. I'm not the first victim here. I mean, Laura Loomer was thrown out of Real CPAC. I was there for that one. Enrique Tarrio, who's current chairman of the Proud Boys, he didn't even make it in. Like they knew him beforehand. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the list keeps growing, right?
the list is getting longer. My personal list of things I'm banned from, I need to update because I've actually lost track. I mean, PayPal, Venmo, Facebook, Twitter, CPAC, Judge Janine's eyesight. The list is getting longer on a
By the
weekly
look
basis.
of her eyes, her eyesight might not be too far, so you might be all right.
No, no, and I mean that literally. She would not look at me the next day, and I did attempt to say hi,
Yeah,
but
it's shameful, and this is someone
incredible.
that
Yeah.
claims to be on the conservative side of things, you know. Now, what do you say to, because it seems that on the right you don't get a lot of sympathy when you tell people about situations like this. They tend to be like, well, you win some, you lose some. This is the way it goes. You know, they're a private organization, blah blah blah. You know, basically justifying people getting fired for being Proud Boys or having any right wing ideology that is deemed offensive.
Yeah, I get both. I get people who share in the outrage, and I get others. There's basically two kinds of people who, at the end of the day, support what's happening to me from our own team. There's the libertarians who do it out of a legitimate philosophical difference that still sucks, where they say this is a private company, and as long as it's a private company stepping on your face and squashing you into the earth, we love it. That's still fine, as long as it's not the government. And I say, okay.
Right.
And then there's the types that are a bit too wrapped up in this, and they don't want any of my stank to get on them, and are just happy to have me out of any mainstream event.
Well, how do you feel like, how are we going to ever win if we're going to devour ourselves, right? Or if we're not even going to back up one another, if we can't even agree that we shouldn't fire each other over our political ideology, or if we can't even support other conservatives from getting fired over their political ideology, how as a movement are we ever going to gain any steam and gain any political power, right?
Well, I'll tell you, I have an answer for that. I think the most effective tool we have against the left is ridicule. And I think that's going to apply just as well in this situation. You have people who care very much about their image, and they tend only to respond to embarrassment. This has been my experience, which is why I get kicked out in the first place. Do you think Judge Janine or any of these people have a single problem with anything I believe in or have said publicly? Not a bit. I'm not a dude with crazy statements, and there's nothing that they can really put in my name that says, oh, this guy did that. Don't have that, but I'm still kicked out. It's because my presence risks one Daily Beast article. And if they get a Daily Beast article, there are boomers who donate to CPUSA or whatever it is at the time are going to write them. And it's just not worth it.
Right, but
Again, maybe
we're
a small different donations.
we're okay. I follow Alex. I watch Alex almost every day. Right.
Yeah.
Gavin was on. They began to bring up your situation, right? And Alex just
Oh yeah, somebody told me I was on Infowars, but I hadn't seen this clip yet.
Alex ran right over it. Went to the end of the segment, but Gavin mentioned it lightly. Now, why isn't our media Breitbart? Why isn't what's his face's DC the guy? But
why isn't this story?
Why isn't this a story?
Question.
Why isn't Breitbart
And
picking
now,
this
when I
up?
say ridicule,
Why aren't
when
they
I say
ridiculing Judge Janine, right, and moving her to the right?
Yeah, why not? I was basically unable to get the story picked up. I'll tell you, Gavin mentioned it in a few places, and I thank him for that. Milo Yiannopoulos, he understands. He says some nice things. And Michelle Malkin took an interest. She got back to me on the story.
Well, she's felt the oppression, so she knows.
Yeah, she's just so freaking excellent. There's so many people on the right that you just see standing up for things, and it honestly, you meet the best people and the worst. Yeah, to your point, it's not a big story, and I couldn't make it one. It's juicy, it's interesting, kind of funny and weird. It has everything you should, but they won't pick it up. Now, why is that? I can't tell you. It's kind of sad.
I I just don't understand how we're gonna how are you said embarrassment and ridicule is the way that we win. How are we gonna do that if our media isn't picking up these stories?
Yeah, we gotta spread that ourselves. Like, I'm one of these band people, so I've lost some of my audience, but uh, we're coming back. It maybe it's behind paywalls, but there is a band right wing voice that's coming back. But until we get louder, no one's gonna hear these tales. So I thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
It's hard.
definitely. You know, I've reached the point now where like we've got to accept what we're up against, right? Like these people are playing to win, right? They literally want to destroy your life. You have a pregnant wife at home, and they don't care whether you eat or not.
No, it was not a good time to get fired. Let me say that much. And the people who did it to me, they've known me forever. They know my personal life. They know my situation, and it's I don't know. They done me dirty. That's
Yeah.
what I say.
I mean, I could never imagine getting fired because I'm affiliated with a supposed hate group or racist organization while I'm married to a black woman that's pregnant with my baby.
I live a weird life.
Mentally, what does that do to you and tell you about this nation? Like, do you just how do you get through this? How do you cope? You know, like when you tell your family and friends, like what's their reaction?
I sort of don't talk about it with the normies in my life, for lack of a better term. They know I'm in Hawaii. They know I'm not homeless, but it's tough, man. I don't tend to talk about these problems unless I'm being interviewed about them. To tell you the truth,
Yeah.
maybe I should get a reaction. I'm
Well,
curious what they think.
Well, I definitely I think this story is huge. I when I heard about it, I thought I was mad, and I went and trolled Janine Pirro's page. You know for a
Well,
fact.
thank you for that. Yes, for all the listeners, please go to Janine's page and just drop some knowledge about her censoring people on the right, because her boomer fans take it real hard, and I assure you it gets hilarious results.
Yeah, they're quite something. If anything, I might accuse Janine Pinero of maybe being a little racist because she's Italian and she married an Italian. You know,
Oh shit!
that's very
Really
concerning to
keeping
me.
it localized, huh? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
know.
mean,
What's she done for diversity this week?
yeah,
What a
I
bitch.
mean, and I know growing up in an Italian family, they like to marry other Italians. You know, that always was a little niche under my belt because I'm not completely Italian, and
Mhm.
I would meet other Italians, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're only half Italian."
You gotta bake those lasagna with the right ingredients. I know.
Right, right. So maybe she's the one with the problem, and she's a little self conscious. That's why she married another Italian.
Yeah, because she's honestly, she's awful. Like, for the record, in real life, Judge Janine is a super bitch. I've met her.
Yeah, I can
In
imagine. Yeah,
case you're wondering,
she.
there's people on the right on you see and TV who are cool as hell, and some who are not. And God, Judge Janine is a pain in the ass.
Oh, dude, she looks like she's completely stuck up. Like she thinks her shit don't stink. You know.
She's unpleasant in most ways,
Oh my
not just
lord.
this.
Well, other than that, you know, what else do you think we can do on the right to dispel these notions that the Proud Boys are racist and a hate organization?
I don't know. Maybe we can recruit some more black guys. That hasn't done wonders so far. Look, people in general understand what they see. Leftists are irredeemable for the most part, but people don't hate the Proud Boys. People like to drink with us. They might have some questions because they heard some weird shit on the internet. But when we meet people in bars, it's really not usually a fight. They just see my chapter is like we have barely any white. We need some white folks. We could use some, but they know it's not what they were told immediately, and everybody buys shots. So I'd say go meet us. We're a fun bunch. That'll
So
dispel all the mist.
So are you telling me after being fired from your job and receiving this discrimination, you did not wake up the next morning and see the errors in your ways?
No, no, it's a strange thing that, in fact, being ostracized from society, losing the career you've made, and having your family suffer for your beliefs, it doesn't really push you toward the what people are telling you to believe. Isn't that fantastic? Like
Yeah.
you'd think that it wouldn't harm people in their beliefs, right?
Well,
What a master plan they have.
you know what I compare it to? The left and these not only the left now, it seems the right even discriminating against people for their beliefs. It's like when imagine you're in the woods, right, and you hear a noise, right, and what's your first thought if you're in the middle of the woods and you hear a noise, right? Your first thought's always the worst, right? Like there's a grizzly bear over there, right? Right? And
Sure, yeah,
and you know what ends up happening? A raccoon comes out. You
yeah.
know,
We are the raccoons of the right. Like,
yeah.
we're harmless. We're probably drunk, but we're harmless.
Well, I'm not saying you. I'm saying their
Oh,
oppression.
I'm talking about the Proud Boys in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I'm saying their oppression. See, what happened
right.
is people are scared. Uh, there's some people that are literally so scared in this political environment, they're scared to like a Facebook post. They're scared to comment
Yeah.
on a controversy Facebook post. Like I'll put a Facebook post up where I'm discussing the pedophilia problems that we're currently having. I'll get one comment, one like, one reaction, right? I'll put up a
Yep.
Facebook post where CNN played porn for 30 minutes on their news channel and didn't notice. It'll get 300,
Yeah,
400
hilarious.
shares. Or I'll just share my opinion about Donald Trump and people will go berserk. Where it's a serious issue, people are scared to talk about it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you see it all the time. There's people that have even called me up and said, "I'm sorry, I got to delete you while I get a job interview." Like they're not looking that deeply. As someone who has felt the oppression, like, you'll be fine. But I get it. It can impact your life. There's people that will take whatever they can find on the internet and use it against you.
Yeah. And I think the only way to fight that is for us to stand up and start saying like, no, we're going to come out, we're going to say what we believe, and think about this in this country. In this country, they set up programs for pedophiles that are getting out of prison to find them jobs. I'm a businessman myself.
True.
I'm a businessman myself. I've hired ex sexual convicts at some of my places of employment, right? Okay. We literally hire them, and sometimes the government will come to employers, especially if it's lower skilled employers like fast food restaurants, machine shops. They'll literally come in, the government sometimes offer even incentives for people to hire these ex-cons that some of them are sex offenders, but yet they'll fire Proud Boys.
Yeah, it's confounding,
I mean,
but
I don't want to live in a country like that. This is
well,
ridiculous.
these are rough times, and it's either going to get better or so much worse. Any of this stuff doesn't matter. You know what? I'm fine. Like I've dealt with a lot, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be. I'll work it out.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna be
get
okay.
out there, say what you're gonna say, and I promise you, it won't be that bad.
Right. That's what I'm
Especially,
saying. It's a raccoon
yeah,
coming out of the woods, not a grizzly bear.
exactly.
You know.
Like, I, it's more of a. It's harder for people who aren't announced, what their beliefs are, because that is a real hurdle to get over. When you come out on Facebook and you say this, that, I voted for, and you'll lose friends. If you want to walk off the liberal side, that's legitimately tough. There's going to be family fights. I get it. But for the people on our side who are already there and don't want to take that extra step to supporting all of our freedom, come on, bro. We're
Yeah.
counting on you.
But do you feel like us on the right? do you feel we tend to do that to our family members and friends on the left as much as they do?
No, no, they don't have that problem. No one cares when your sister shaves 1/3 of her head and that second-year women's studies major, and she still shows up to Thanksgiving.
Right.
It's fine. We don't give a shit. Their side doesn't function like that.
Well, most of my family aren't even like that far left. Like I was always taught just like we're Democrats because we're poor. You know what I'm saying? We never went far.
Sure, yeah.
We were more union based Democrats, I would say, my family.
Well, I know the working class approach to the Democratic Party. I don't have a problem with it because until somewhat recently, they had a point. It was the party of the working class, and you probably get a better deal for voting blue if you were trying to work a shit job in Indiana. You know, I understand this,
Right.
but they switched, you know, in maybe 2014 to the party of racial grievance as opposed to working issues, and you don't have an excuse anymore.
Well,
It's been a few years.
You know,
Sorry.
What I love is like I run across a Democrat and they'll be like, Republicans are corrupt to corporate corruption, right? And I'm like, yeah, there's no corruptions in the unions. You know, there's no corruption ever in unions. That never happens.
Right. Right.
You know, no nepotism there, no corruption. No, that don't happen. So other than that, now, what's your plans? Do you plan on getting back into the political arena? And with this Ochs report, are you gonna be doing anything with that, pushing that, and trying to do that?
Yeah, I'm very open about everything I do, but my next plan I don't want to announce just yet, not here, but it will become obvious soon. As for the Ochs report, yeah, look, I love my page, I love my followers, and I'll push that as far as I can, but that page will be deleted soon. Not by myself, but I don't think it'll survive 2020.
Right. You also have that page on Telegram, is that correct?
Yeah, Telegram is, listen, get on Telegram. Of course, follow me, but just for your own sake, get on Telegram. It is a magical place. Every banned person on the right is there. It's a small community. You can talk with everybody, and it's just way too much damn fun. Telegram.
Yeah, I tried it, man, but the interface is a little glitchy to me, man. Like
it's not that user friendly. Like it helps me a nerd, but you'll figure it out. And if not, ask somebody. Ask me. I'll help you out. I don't care if I know you or not.
No problem.
Get on Telegram, and it's real free speech again. It feels like 2015 energy, like when the campaign is just starting and everybody's on 4chan.
You don't actually got a website yet set up for the Ochs report?
No, I thought about it, but if I build one on Wix or WordPress, they'll just ban me too.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I'll push it as far as I can. I'm not allowed on Facebook as a human being, but the Ochs report page, which I do not operate personally for legal reasons, does endure for now.
All right. Well, I'm very apologetic and sympathetic to this happening to you. Hopefully we can live in a country one day where we actually, fire people that are convicted convicts and actually did something that inquired a debt to society rather than somebody that's just a family man, trying to support his family and push some conservative ideals.
Well, that's not going to happen, but I do admire your optimism. Anyway, hey, thanks for having me on, Bevo.
Yep, have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.